Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the PACE podcast, Setting the Pace. I'm Ipsita Bhattacharya, your host and moderator for today's conversation. This podcast is created by the Pacific Autism Center for Education, or PACE as we are known as, where our mission is to enhance the lives of people impacted by autism through innovation, exceptional education, and compassionate care. In each episode, we share real stories, practical tools, and voices from our community so families, educators, and caregivers feel a little more informed, a little more supported, and a little less alone. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Reema Das. Reema is a dedicated educator at PACE with over 10 years of experience supporting students on the autism spectrum. She is known for designing individualized classroom based strategies that meet each student's unique strengths and needs while working closely with families to support consistent growth. As an education specialist in a diagnostic program, she adapts her teaching approach to address a wide range of learning and behavioral profiles. Her work is deeply grounded in both practical experience and compassion. Outside PACE, she's a proud mother of a young lady who will be soon enrolling into high school. Reema truly enjoys wildlife photography as one of her passions. Today's conversation is focused on classroom strategies, student needs, and how children with autism learn from a teacher's perspective. So, Reema, based on your years of teaching children with autism, what are some of the early patterns or needs you typically observe when a student first enters your classroom?
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here today. So that's a great question. A lot of work goes into welcoming a new student into a new classroom. The environment is new. There's a lot of anxiety um, in the student when they step into a new world. And we focus very heavily on building trust. Trust is extremely important because it builds the foundation for everything that comes after. So, some of the things that we see when a student comes into our classroom is we see the body language, we see the overall affect of the student, how they communicate. Not all students are verbal. Some communicate by signs, some with gestures, some communicate by hand leading. So we do a lot of observation. We try to get to know the student as an individual first. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What comforts them? What gives them anxiety? Do they look scared? So we do a lot of observation in the first few days, and depending on the student, because honestly, every child is so different and unique. So we build trust the first couple of weeks, because once we have that trust and that relationship, everything else follows through. Instruction will always follow through afterwards.
Thank you, Reema. That was beautiful. Um, in your classroom experience, I want to know how do you differentiate between these variations in learning styles? Where do you think that you need to intervene for a specific targeted support?
So at PACE, we are a diagnostic program. We do a lot of observations and then we adapt. We do not try to push a particular teaching style or strategy on a student. Not one formula fits all. So we do it the other way around. We observe, we learn from how a student responds, and then we adapt our teaching style to fit how they are able to learn. So every student has their own style. Some learn it visually when it is modeled for them. Some learn verbally, they can follow verbal directions. Some learn with real life examples. And honestly, one of the biggest indicators of um, that something is working is progress.
So true. I want to know, Reema, that when you notice a student facing ongoing challenges, whether it's communication, behavior, or learning, what strategies do you first try within the classroom before bringing in additional support?
Honestly, additional support is not failure. I see additional support as an equally important tool because in special education, we believe in collaboration with home, with the parents, the caregivers. We believe in collaboration with our different teams. We have occupational therapy, we have speech therapy, we have physical adaptive therapy. But before we go there, I usually begin by making adjustments within the classroom first. For example, if we see that a student is having a particular behavior during academic work, then I try to think, is the work overwhelming? Do I need to break it down into small parts so it is much more easier for the student to grasp the concepts? I think of sensory needs. Are they regulated sensory in terms of their sensory needs? Or is something new happening in their life outside of school that they are trying to adjust and adapt? So, setting predictable routines. These are some of the basic things that we try to check off in the beginning, and then we go from there.
That sounds great. Uh, so, as I understand that supporting students with autism can look very different on a day to day basis. What has helped you stay flexible and responsive as an educator over the years?
Honestly, I think experience has taught me that flexibility is key in, in special education. We have to be flexible with our students. Every day, each day looks very different. What we see today, what is working today, may not work tomorrow. And then we have to adapt our teaching again to fit how they're able to learn on a particular day. Um, I also try to focus on progress. Again, that's one of our biggest indications that if a student is responding in a way where they are showing that they are making progress, they are building independence, they are relying less and less on supports, then that's a step in the right direction.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for these incredible insights. Uh, Before we wrap up, based on your experience, what is that one most important thing you want families to understand about how children with autism learn and grow in the classroom?
If I had to pick one important thing that I want to say, that would be progress is progress. And no matter how small, it may not be traditional, it may not be immediate, but we must celebrate every win. No matter how small the progress is, a step in the right direction is a win.
Thank you so much, Reema, for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. You are definitely teacher Reema for me going forward. If you would all like to learn more about PACE, you can visit pacificautism.org or follow us on social media for updates on new episodes and resources. Thank you so much for listening to Setting the Pace. We are glad you're here and we hope you'll join us for the rest of this journey. Signing out.